Hello YouTube. Okay, so today's video is something that I haven't done before. Today's video is going to be a bit of a van tour. I have a colleague, Dan, his name is, he's built his own Rustic camper van, and I'm on the way now to go and meet him. Hoping to be able to do a nice little tour and present his van quite well. It's really cool. He's done a good job so far. It's almost complete. Well, you'll see. You'll see as soon as we get there. I'll see you in a minute.
Hi, I'm Dan. This is my van, Shaun, Claude, and together we are Shaun, Claude, Dan's van. So let's go and take a look. It's 2004 Citroen Relay 2.2 litre HDI. It can carry 1.8 tonnes and it's a 3.5 tonne van, so I don't really need to worry so much about weight, because you'd struggle to get that much weight in here. But yeah, this is the floor I'll start with. It's all pallet wood that I picked up from all different industrial estates. Obviously you've got your little shoe mat there to stop you getting mud all over the place. But yeah, this it's all insulated underneath there. I've got 2.5mm Celotex through the whole van, so all through the ceiling, all of the walls, and that back wall there is all filler foamed with fireproof foam insulation, and it has a whole vapour barrier through the van, so I don't really struggle with having any sort of moisture in the van. Okay, so this is the kitchen. First of all, you've got your overhead hanging light, which is always handy when you're cooking in the dark at night time. All you really have your focus on is here, so you don't have all these lights in your face because they're so bright in the evenings, so this is quite handy. I've got my tiles here as my splashback, and I've got my 235 volts my inverter runs at. So I've got my plug sockets here so I can use any household items. And this here is just an old saucepan. I was going to put a plug hole in, but then I decided it's much easier and simpler to just ditch it out, and also I can go and do my washing up outside looking at the views, so I do prefer that. The tap is not actually running just yet. I've got a pump hooked up to it, it's all done, but my jerry can that I have under here is actually doesn't have a big enough tap on the top. The lid is not big enough for me to fit my pump into, so I'm getting a new jerry can because I didn't want to chop a big hole for the pump in the jerry can. So I'll be getting a new one of those soon. This is all just storage space under here. It's a lot of rubbish really. It's paint, oils, things like that for all of the wood treatment things. This is my little cleaning basket full of all of your goodies. So this worktop is actually off of an old fence. I think it was a memorial for something, I'm not sure what, but they were just throwing it all away. It's all oak and it's all like wavy on the edges, so I love it. I've just picked up 2 bits and attached them. Really, I need to put a bit of filler in there and finish off, but yeah, I'm happy with how it is for now. The bed, this is the bed. Obviously this is a big old piece of driftwood that I found on the local beach, and this is all pallet wood again, the same as the floor. This is a piece that I metal detected from my family. Has a bit of land in Wales that means quite a lot to the family, and I went metal detecting and I found that, so I thought, yeah, I'll stick it in my van, take it with me. My mattress is a 5-inch reflex with a 1-inch memory foam topper, single mattress, and I did have to trim a bit off of the end because it is slightly short, but I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so I get away with it just about. Yeah, it's really comfy. I've got a double duvet, 15 tog, so I will not be getting cold. We've had some cold nights this winter that I stayed in the van and I've been absolutely fine so far. Fire extinguisher, of course, is always important. So I just use spray glue and a staple gun to attach this. This is actually a throw and coffee sacks here that my cousin gave me because they own a coffee roastery. So I just spray glued it all on, and it's just much warmer on your feet and on your body in the night if you touch the wall. If I wouldn't want to touch any of the wood because it'd be freezing. So I still need to trim all of this piece of the cabling in, but this is my socket here. So I've got a 12 volt, just a cigarette lighter port, and I've got a phone charger here. So I can charge my phone and my GoPro, which is here, at night time, anything that I need to charge, which is very handy to be able to be in bed and be able to charge your phone up when you're watching YouTube. So this is my overhead storage that I made. It's just out of tongue and groove, similar to the ceiling, but it's just got this nice little bit of detailing on it. It's just full of clothes at the moment, and this is my shoe storage side. And I keep my torch up here. And this here is my curtain rail, and I've got a really cool piece of old rope here around the window. So I use coffee sack again to trim the windows up. It just makes it look a lot more neat. I don't want to see any of the metal of the van or any of the insulation there really because of the vapour barrier. But yeah, the curtains are great. And then that brings us to the ceiling. I've got 6 down lights. I think most vans have these, they're pretty standard. They take hardly any energy at all, so they're so good. I've got a skylight that just pops open, that came with the van because it was originally a minibus. And then the ceiling is stained with some mahogany wood stain, and I think it looks really nice having it, the darker ceiling contrasting with all of the light cupboards. This is the couch, but also the guest room. And this little thing here is my wood burner. It's a French stove in blue enamel paint, the original paint that it had. When I got it, it had no glass. I've restored all the glass. I had to make a whole new steel base in the bottom of it, but I knew that I wanted a wood burner in my van, and I didn't want to have just a standard one. I liked having the glass, being able to see the fire, and I wanted it to be a standout piece, so I was looking for a long time. And eventually I found one. I had to drive to the Isle of Sheppey to get it, but it was worth it. It's mirrorless. It's still got the original fire bricks in the bottom, and it is about 130 years old. So they made them in the late, about 1890 sort of time. What I like about it the most is you can take the lid off and cook on the top of it. So this is the climbing gear. It's not actually mine, I'm borrowing it. But yeah, if you check out the rest of my videos, there's a bit of caving, a bit of rock climbing, and there'll be more to come. Obviously I've got my switchboard here. This tells me my power. I've got a small solar panel in the front that trickle feeds this battery, but I've also got a split charge relay. So when I'm driving around, that charges up my battery from the engine. I've just got one 12 volt 115 amp hour battery at the moment, and I've got a 1500 watt Durite inverter, which is really good. It alarms when my power's too low or if it's too high, and I run all sorts of tools off of there. I run an electric sander off of it, and I can put it to full power and it still runs really well, so it keeps up with that. Yeah, it's not the neatest work, but I'm still sort of moving things around with the electrics. I still want to put a light in above the bed that's just a bit of warm lighting for something I can switch on and off from lying in bed position, so that I'm not having to climb to my bed blindly in the night. This here is a really handy thing to have. I made out of leatherette material and some Reflectix insulation and just some bits of Velcro, you can see there, that I've hole punched in, and it's just riveted on, and just Velcro it up here. And it's completely black out, so from outside you cannot tell the lights on. I can have these down lights on and it's super bright in here, but no one would even know that I'm in here at night time, so that's handy for not drawing attention to yourself if you're on a bit of a stealth camping mission. So one more handy thing that I did forget to mention is this bad boy here. It's just a piece of Celotex, but it fits into this gap perfectly, so that keeps it nice and warm in here at night and stops all of my heat going straight out of the skylight. But also it has a double up job. You just slot it in here when you're cooking and it forms a splashback so that nothing spits and gets all muck on my bed covers. So underneath here I haven't opened up because it's absolutely full of rubbish, just all my overflow stuff really. So the whole space underneath the bed is also a storage that I can get to either from in here. I've got a portable cassette toilet in there too that I can slide out. It just sits just the other side of this door, and I slide it out here for emergencies, but I don't really like to use it. But if we're out and about and anybody needs to, I usually let them. So I keep my cooker down here. It's just a single hob portable stove. Just use cans to refill it. The rest of my cooking equipment is up here. You got your bowls, my saucepan. It all stays so compact. So that's my kettle, and inside of the kettle is a small hob.
So tell me about your plans for the van. You got any changes in mind, or what's left to go?
I still haven't installed the wood burner because it's most of the way through the restoration, but it just has a few bits to be done.
What do you need to do to it?
I need to seal up all around the glass a bit better, and where the faceplate goes on, I didn't seal the bolts, so I still need to seal that.
Okay.
And then fit the chimney, obviously, and the flue.
The flue, yeah.
Mm.
Any plans to put solar on the roof or anything like that?
I would like to one day, but for now I've got plenty of power. I don't have anything that draws too much. I'd like to get a fridge.
Oh yeah.
But I'll probably get a small one that will fit down behind you.
Okay. That'll
be fairly soon. And another thing that I have to fit is this, which is a porthole window.
You bought a porthole for your van?
A porthole, yes.
Where's that going?
That's going in the back door just there, so I can get the those nice views out of the window when I'm lying in bed.
That's a bit of light up there as well.
Yeah, it is a bit dark up there in the daytime, so it'll be nice to have a bit of light pouring in.
So what made you decide to build your own camper?
I saw a few videos of it on YouTube. I'd seen things in the past, but then actually you got a van. That's Luke. Ages ago. About, when did you get your van? 2 years? Just so?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
And you converted it, and then you did like some trip to Spain, which was pretty badass. So I decided, yeah.
You want some of that?
Yeah. And I only learned to drive a few years, like a year and a half ago, so this is my first vehicle, actually.
Nice. So have you been travelling in the van yet?
I've been a few places, not too far. I mean, I've stayed sort of the Eastbourne way and across to Hayling Island was quite nice. And then I've gone up to Wales and stayed in the Brecon Beacons
a
few times now. I stayed in it last year in December for a few weeks, I think 3 weeks I did. And it was hardly done. I'd only done the insulation and the top bed and a bit of the sofa. That was a bit cold, but it was worth doing still. It was still awesome. And I have, I went up there again a few weeks ago, and I stayed there for a few weeks, went in a load of caves, stayed up on the mountain, did a lot of exploring. Yeah.
And you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I literally started my YouTube channel while I was away in Wales, because I decided I was doing a lot of pictures and videos of the cool things I was finding. And I followed your YouTube channel, so I decided, yeah, I'd start doing my own, because I was out doing things.
So you do quite a bit of adventuring, don't you?
Yeah. I do things like spearfishing and a bit of rock climbing.
And these are all on your channel? They're all going to be on your channel?
Yeah, I've got a few videos on there. I've only put up 5 or 6 videos so far, but yeah, there'll be a lot more coming up.
So how can people find you?
It's on the channel Shaun, Claude, Dan's Van.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only one with that name, so... Yeah.
It's a unique name, that's for sure. So, for anyone that hasn't yet done their own conversion, have you got any tips or suggestions for people?
If I was to start again, the only thing I would do differently, I'm happy with the layout, because I thought about that a lot, but what I didn't think about was where I was going to have my lighting and things like that, my electrics run, my plugs.
Yeah.
So really, when you're planning this out, really think about where you're going to want your plug sockets, your lighting, and run those cables while you're fitting the insulation, because it's really annoying. I've had to stick it all across that top of the door there and just shove it in the edge, but really I would have laid it out so much differently.
Or you could like use a hose pipe or conduit or something, put that in place so you can...
I've used some garden hose because it's much easier to use than conduit, and it's cheaper. So yeah, garden hose definitely. So just stick a bit of garden hose where you think you're going to even want cables run. It's just handy to have.
Very good tip.
Another thing is, I've got a wooden floor, which I really like it, and I picked it because I like to have the real rustic finish.
Yeah, it's kind of like a old pub floor, isn't it?
It has come out really nicely, and I'm happy with it. I used yacht varnish on it, and it's done a really good job. And that's just one coat I've used on it, and it's done that good a job. But really, if you are quite worried about you're going to be spilling anything, if I have a spillage in here, I really have to be cleaning it up and careful not to spill things, because if it gets underneath the floorboard, it's not ideal. So a lino or vinyl sort of flooring is definitely a good idea for people that are worried about that.
But it does look well cool. It does look different.
I wouldn't change it. I do like it.
You could seal it, couldn't you?
I think yeah, the yacht varnish has protected it really well, because I mean, it's yacht varnish, it's made for having the seawater hitting the deck, so it's really well protected. But I do just think it's still going to let water through the gaps in the planks. You can't avoid it. So yeah, it's good to have, I think, a vinyl floor if you are worried about your insulation and things getting rotted underneath.
So yeah, if you want to find Dan, he's just got a YouTube channel started. He's going to have lots more stuff about spearfishing and rock climbing and van life.
Fitting my window, fitting things to the van. Yeah.
Just check out his YouTube channel, Jean-Claude Dan's Van.
Thank you, I'd appreciate it.